Hi guys, this is your Commerce with MAK. I have already taught chapter 1 to 9 in grade 10, almost done, and I have few more chapters to upload in future. Today I'm going to teach grade 11 syllabus because we need to get learning grade 11 also as your exams are getting nearby. So I'm going to explain you each content from chapter 1 from few videos from I think in chapter 1 there are few contents like transportation, banking, trade. So these areas are highly tested in exams. So I'm going to divide those areas and I'm going to teach one by one. And I hope you will watch every videos because it's a very important area tested in your exams. And most probably when it comes to part 2, this highly tested area, trade and supporting services, it has a separate question will be scoring in this area, and also you'll be scoring in your paper one a high skilled highly tested areas are from this trade and supporting services. If you know trade and supporting services, you can at least score 20 marks out of your entire oral paper. So that directly, so you need to be so focused on focusing getting this chapter correct. So let's start. What is this trade and supporting services? Whenever you do trade, what are the type of services which will be much supporting for the trade is what we're going to discuss now. So in this chapter today I'm going to discuss few things. I'm going to show you this is 32 pages textbook. I'm going to explain today regarding, you might see here, yeah, let me take my spotlight. There's introduction to trade and supporting services. I'm going to give you a small introduction and speak about trade, domestic trade and international trade. So each and every videos I'll be uploading banking services, insurance services, communication services and transportation services, because I don't want to make it lengthy and make it short and sweet and something perfect for you to score better in your exams. And do not forget to subscribe my channel to learn with me more in future. I have done a lot of past papers, a lot of videos I have uploaded. So please go and visit those videos. And also I'm doing already classes for grade 10 and 11 in an institute called Shine Institute. If you guys wanted to learn with me or if you want private classes with me, you can contact. My number is just below this video. Anyway guys, so let's move on to the point we want to discuss. Yeah, so this is about introduction and trade and supporting services. You might see here what is trade. So I don't want to move on. If you want, I can read this. A business can simply be defined as any activity satisfying the needs and wants of humans. Trade is the most important activity carried out by a business among all other activities. In order to make trade easy and efficient, supporting services are essential. Supporting services and trade are mutually related. That is, supporting services facilitate the growth of trade and trade facilitates the growth of supporting services. So actually to make a trade moving, a trade going on, you need to have some sort of supporting services. What is the supporting services? Extra services we can say in that particular manner. So without the supporting services, a business cannot do trade. So let's see the first supporting services. Now, before we move on to supporting services, we need to know what is trade. So I'm going to explain you what is trade deeper into this area. So now let's move on. Whenever I'm marking in your textbook, guys, please underline these areas. I could have done with my own tute, but I feel like everyone will have a textbook. That's the reason I'm teaching in textbook. So trade means buying and selling goods and services. In simple terms, trades can be explained as purchasing and selling of products. So if you are purchasing and you sell products at one particular area, or you buy or sell goods, we say it as a trade, a transaction most probably. In trade, the ownership of a good is transferred from one party to another. So normally when a person is selling the property, that property's ownership will go to the person who is buying that particular property. In this transfer occurs based on a monetary value. So no, most probably it is based on the money value thing. Then they are saying trade has expanded. Trade has expanded its scope into domestic and international areas. The categories of trade can be depicted as follows. Again, highly tested area. I don't know why examiner loves this chart a lot, but still he asks this chart most probably on most of the exams. And you need to know this particular trade is divided into two things. One we said as domestic trade, other one we said as international trade. So domestic trade is also divided into as retail trade and wholesale trade. When it comes to international trade, they divide it into import and export. So I'm going to explain you these contents more deeper, going as per your textbook. Let's move on to the first part, domestic trade. In simple terms, if I say domestic trade means you are doing trade inside the country within the geographical boundaries of the country, we said as domestic trade. But when it comes to international trade, you are selling the products outside the geographical boundaries or outside the country, is known as international trade. So let's look into domestic trade definition in this book. You don't want to exactly by heart the trade's definition, but you need to remember just few things. When it comes to trade, you need to remember actually the basic things about trade, that's more than enough. So don't buy hard in business studies. I always say understand the situation, understand the scenario, understand the exact point. So don't buy hard. So it will save a lot of time. When it comes to domestic trade, trading activities that occur among different parties within a country, a domestic trade, in domestic trade, payments can be made in currency used in that country. So because you are selling and transacting within the country's border, you don't want to use another country's currency actually. So domestic trade occurs in different ways, and it says retail trade and wholesale trade. Let's look into these two type of trades in deeper manner. So let's see what is retail trade. Retail trade means easy. If you sell some sort of product, the consumer who is consuming that product is consuming for himself. That's what we say retail trade. I'll take an example. I got a marker in my hand, right? So this marker is bought for my own specific purpose. If I'm teaching for myself, looking at the board, I'm teaching for myself, and I'm purchasing this with the intention that I'm going to use this in my house or in my premises or in my office space, whatever the places. But I'm using for my consumption. So when I purchase this marker comes under retail trade. The reason, very easy to understand. You are purchasing that product for your own consumption. So when you purchase something for your own consumption, we say it as retail trade. So now you need to understand when it comes to wholesale trade, it's not like that. A person purchases these markers, a bunch of markers, and they sell to another person. The person who is purchasing from that wholesaler might be the retailer. So wholesaler's main intention is to sell to another person, but retailer's main intention is to sell for the final consumer. So let's see, consumers require purchasing various goods and services in order to fulfill their wants. These goods are sold to them by the retailers. Accordingly, retail trade means selling goods and services for final consumption. You take Sri Lanka supermarkets, Keels, Food City, these are all retail traders. So what they do, they represent the other companies' products and they sell them to the consumers. Whenever you purchase those products to your household, you will, I mean, for your day-to-day activities, you will not go and, you will not take a soap from Skills Food City and come and sell at a grocery store. It's not practical. But you might buy from a wholesaler. That might be practical. So you need to understand that retailer's main intention is to sell to the final consumer. That's what you need to know. So then here, I want you guys to mark it down when I'm marking this accordingly. Retail trade means selling goods and services for final consumption. So let's move on to the point. When a student buys the required exercise books from the school, cooperative, or from another trading shop, trader has carried out a retail sale. So when you purchase something for your purpose or for your school, for your purpose from the school bookshop, you are carrying out your day-to-day activities, once you purchase the book, your main intention is to use that book at your school. So if you purchase for yourself, the student is purchasing for himself, we consider it as a retail trade. Yeah. The person who carries out retail trade is known as a retailer. At present, there are both large and small scale retail shops. So you need to understand when it comes to food cities, we consider as large scale shops, and small scale retail shops comes under grocery stores. Let's see the characteristics of retail trades one by one. I'm going to erase this part. Normally, a retail trader will be selling goods and services for final consumption. His main intention is to sell for the final consumer, supplying required goods in required quantities at the required time to consumers. Normally, when it comes to wholesale, you need to buy in bulk, but in a retailer's shops, you can go and get dal 500 gram, rice 200 gram, whatever you require preferences of quantities, you will be able to buy. And the third thing is close proximity to consumers. What is close proximity to consumers? Retail shops are available in any area in order to facilitate consumers to fulfill their needs. Retail shops are located closely to consumers. Yeah, so when it comes to providing a variety of goods, so their main intention is to provide a lot of goods in different varieties. So they will not sell only one particular good. Whenever you go and ask, you can ask anything you really want. So that's also part of retailers' main way of giving a product towards you. Then we have most of the retail shops sells various goods that fulfill the same need. Furthermore, at present, there are retail shops that sell most of the goods required by a household. So household means some students might not know this definition. I will remind you. Households mean it is consumers. So I remind you, what do you say, guys? It is consumers. So know these terms because that can score you better in your exam. So I'll say consumers. So understanding after writing this, please erase it. Don't erase it. I'm going to erase it. So I'm going to move on to the next part. Also content. We have Importance of retail trade. So let's see what are the why we need to have retail trade. Actually, retail trade is important as it provides the following services. Number one, providing goods and services to consumers to fulfill their daily needs and wants. So they wanted to give the products towards consumers, and they want to satisfy consumers in a very nice manner. So their main intention is to make consumers very happy. That's their main intention. That's the reason retail trade is speaking about providing daily needs and wants. Second thing is introducing new goods to consumers. The main intention is to give new products. Whenever a product comes into the market, these retailers will bring this product and give to the consumer and say, just have a taste of this product and see, is this product awesome, or is this product not good? They may ask some sort of comments from the consumers, and they will take these comments towards the wholesalers or the producers. Providing goods on credit at times when when the grocery store is nearby, you can go and ask, hey, I don't have some money, can you please give some bun, I'll pay you tomorrow. And Kada Mudalali will give you, of course, because he knows you better, he knows your family, he might not know about everyone. The reason he will have the touch to give some sort of services, and will try to keep you always coming repetitively purchasing at the store. And when it comes to the next part, supporting to improve the quality of goods by informing consumer feedback to producers. So their main intention, like, it's also very important, retail traders also go back to the producers and say, consumer said this taste is not good, you can make it this much better way. So this their main word of mouth, or word of informing about the product is very important to producers whenever they are producing. If the product is not that satisfactory, they will try to improve it in a better way. So that's the importance of retail traders. Then we are moving on to the types of retail traders. What are the ways retail traders are there in our country? First of all, at present, there are small scale retail traders as well as large scale retail traders. Depending on their nature, they can be categorized as follows. So there are a few retail traders. Number one, fixed large scale retail traders. So that's supermarkets. You might see Keel Super and Food City, Kargil's Food City is the biggest supermarkets in our country, in Sri Lanka. So fixed large scale retail traders is other retail traders who sell it in a bulk. Sell a lot of variety of goods, and it's so diversified, and that has a lot of products. Diversified means a lot of products. In this supermarket, you can find everything what you really want. Then the second thing is fixed small scale retail traders. What is this fixed small scale retail traders is speaking about? They might be like grocery stores or beauty salons, small, but they are also trying to give a good variety of services. Then we have small scale mobile. Now this mobile, what is the term called mobile? Is it a person who is having a mobile in their hand? Students who are doing O levels, please know these terms very carefully. Mobile means moving. So these are moving retailers. They move, they knock the door, and they say, "Hey, sir, there's a product from this particular country. This shoe is so good. If you put this shoe, your brain will work so awesome." You're like, actually, if you put this product, your brain will work so awesome. How is it? As your brain, this brain will work in a better way. This side brain will also perform in a better way. They can give you a lot of ways to sell, and retailers always bring new products to your houses. So these retailers are really moving. They knock the doors, and they even they can come in. Ice cream sellers also can be a part of retailers who come with you know different way of selling the product. You can now, I'm not saying the retailers are only having a different product. Even certain product people also can be retailers who can come and sell to your final consumption. So their main intention is to sell for you, and you're going to consume it. Then we move on to the next part of the content. Retailers sell goods by visiting houses, retailers selling goods by traveling from fair to fair. So from one place to another, from exhibition to exhibition, from house to house, they used to move. Mobile retail traders built on vehicles. Some people take the lorry, they built up a store, and they go and sell the food products to the market. Then we have wholesale traders. Let's move on to wholesale traders. Now I spoke about retail traders. Retail traders and wholesale traders, both of them fall under domestic trade, and this is also said as local trade within the country, and it is within the geographical boundaries. Wholesale trade means purchasing of goods with a purpose of reselling. Now I want you to underline this again. So when you purchase the goods with the purpose of reselling, that is what we call wholesale trade. A seller who engages in wholesale trading activities is known as wholesaler. So their main intention is to sell the product what they purchase to another person. That's what we say, reselling. So they purchase and they want to sell. They purchase, they want to sell. So the main intention is to sell for another party. So they don't sell for, sometimes they might sell for final consumption also, but still they provide a lot of discounts. So then when it comes to the point, selling 50 kilograms of rice to a retailer, selling a stock of cement to a contractor to construct a building. So their quantities will be very big in bulk. Purchasing goods for their characteristics can be as follows. Purchasing goods for the purpose of reselling. So they purchase and they sell for others. The second thing is often selling large quantities of goods in one transaction. So their main intention is to sell a lot of quantities in just one transaction. Selling a few selected items, they don't sell everything. If you take a business who sells headsets, they will sell headsets in different varieties, like 3 or 4 models, something like that. So, but they are selling it in bulk. Then unit selling price is relatively low. The retailer might be selling at 2,000, but the wholesaler might be selling at 1,000. So the range will be very much bigger, but still wholesalers have a high margin. The reason they sell with a low profit, but when you sell a larger quantity, the profit is very big than a retailer. Providing trade discount, reducing a certain percentage from the listed price of goods in sale. So they might, provide a lot of discounts to attract the customers and sell a lot of products towards customers. Then we move on to the next part. Yeah, we're gonna see differences between retail trade and wholesale trade. Highly tested area, and why examiner loves this particular area, but he always asks what is the difference between the retail trade and the wholesale trade. As per your knowledge, now you might know a retail trade is a a retail trade is a person who sells the product to final consumption, whereas a wholesale trade is where a trader is where who sells the products for reselling purposes. Retailers and wholesalers are both middlemen engaged in distributing record goods and services to consumers. So what is this middleman? Now you might see, like for example, I'm going to take you into my whiteboard for your knowledge. Now I'm going to take, I'm not good in drawing, so I'm going to put 3 boxes for knowledge for now. So 1, 2, and 3, right? So I'm going to text these people. Number 1, I'm going to speak about producer. Number 2, I'm going to say them as wholesalers. And number 3, I'm going to say it as retailers. And number 4, I'm going to put another box. Okay. I'll name them as, they are households, or we said as consumers. Now, how the products move actually according to your syllabus, you need to know this way. First, producer selling that product towards wholesalers. Wholesalers takes those products and sell towards retailers, and retailers sell those products towards consumers. You see, arrow is this side, but you need to remember that is this side. So now actually it goes from producer, wholesaler, retailers, and consumers. So when retailers is directly selling to consumer, it's final consumption, but wholesalers and retailers, they are in between. So they are in between producer. Now if a consumer can directly get from producer, it's so cheap, but that does not happen always. Producers also doesn't like to happen that way. They want it in a big lengthy process, then only consumers will pay a high amount. And they also have a high margin producer. So producers sell to wholesalers, wholesalers take to the market, they sell to retailers, they sell keep a margin, they sell to consumers. So actually this is how, but in between wholesalers and retailers are, always in between the producer and consumer. That's the reason we always call them as middle men. Okay, according to your syllabus. Now let's move on to the point we want to discuss actually. However, depending on how the business, However, depending on how the business activities are conducted, the following differences can be observed between retail trade and wholesale trade. So what is the differences actually? The objective of retail trade is to sell goods for final consumption. Their main intention is to sell to the final consumer. The objective of wholesale trade is to sell goods for purpose of reselling. We already know that their main purpose is selling to another person. Retailers sell different types of goods by understanding consumer needs and wants. So they always give what they can give at best and maximum. Like for example, if you go and ask a book, they might ask SPC, Atlas. They will give a lot of varieties, and the consumer has a chance to select the brand. And wholesalers, they don't do that. We have this. If you want, you can buy it. If not, you can go it. So there's only one or limited types of goods. So they are very strict in what they are actually selling. Then we are moving on to the next part. Retail price is comparatively higher since retailers have to incur additional cost to resale and has to earn a profit as well. So you might see retail prices might be very high because they are bringing the product into that store and they are selling it, so you need to pay a high price. But wholesale party, yeah, you can take it for a lower price. Like for example, the wholesale price is relatively lower compared to the retail price, as it's are selling in large quantities and trade discount. So you can get a big bulk discounts. But because you are getting in bulk discount, you can't bring 100 kilograms at 1,000, keep and start eating. Actually, that doesn't happen. That's the reason we always go and find retail price. That's the reason most of the wholesale traders get retailers to buy the product and sell it in the market. Then you move on next part of the content. Goods are often sold at the listed price. Listed price. What is this listed price? Many people ask, many students ask me, what is the listed price? Listed price is the price which is mentioned in that particular product. If you take a Munchie biscuit, if they have put 60 rupees, so that is what we say listed price. So Munchie company doesn't sell the, I'm just taking an example. I don't know what's the price Munchie is selling, but Munchie biscuit company might give for wholesalers maybe for 40 rupees. Wholesalers keep a margin for 50 rupees. So 50 rupees to 60 rupees, 10 rupees margin. Who will keep? The retailers might get that money. That's how the market works. Trade discounts are given in wholesale trade. So you might find a lot of discounts are given in wholesale trade, but actually you don't get discounts in retail trade. Retail trade also today they are also developing new trends of bringing up loyalty cards, giving discounts, but remember, not to the level of wholesale traders. Retailers are well aware of needs and wants of consumers. They have direct contact with them, so they know you yourself. They know your family. Some retailers they already know all your family problems. Yeah, grocery store, Kadamu Dalalis. Should be very careful with these people. But when you go to supermarket, they don't know about you, but still they provide you. But actually, they will have good contact with you. They'll speak with you. How is the product? I hope they are doing that. No? Okay. Anyway, we'll move on then. Wholesalers do not have direct contact with consumers. They collect information about consumers through retailers. So they don't know what's actually happening on the market. Now, for example, I go and take a product and I start selling to a consumer, but the moment consumer is not happy with the product, I go and say to the wholesaler, hey, this product is not that good. Don't do it. It's going to be cause you a lot of losses. So I'll give them a comment that this product might not be suitable for them to go ahead. Then we are done with the domestic trade. We had a deep discussion. I'm going to speak about international trade, the last part of this content of trade. International trade is the trade carried out between two or more countries in order to fulfill the needs of a country. Both domestic and international products are required because a country is not self-sufficient with the goods and services required. Further, a country also needs to sell its excess production to other countries. Hence, almost all the countries are engaged in international trade. So you need to understand one thing. In this word, the things excess production is not self-sufficient. So trade carried out between two or more countries. So these are the definitions you need to know. International trade is all about selling for other countries outside the geographical boundaries, and also when they are satisfying themselves, you might not have enough resources. But when you have certain resources, abundance or too much, that's what we say excess, too much or abundant, too much in resource. You can sell that to outside countries. That's what we say excess production. Sri Lanka has excess production in tea. I hope so. Sri Lanka might be having excess production in clothes, so that's the reason they are selling to international countries. And they have two ways of international trade. There are two categories of international trade. One is import trade, other one is export trade. Simple as that possible. Import trade means you are buying the goods from a country, from that country to this, from that country, you're bringing the products to our country. This is import trade. Export trade, from our country, you are selling it to the other country. When I say import, you remember China, right? So we are purchasing from China, and export trade, you remember USA, right? We are selling most of the products to USA. So this is the things that you need to know. Import means bringing the product inside the country or buying the goods from another country to our country, and export trade means selling the goods to another country. So let me erase this off and let me write it. Yeah. Import trade is bringing goods from foreign country or countries to this country, purchasing crude oil from Middle East countries, purchasing automobiles from India. Export trade means is selling domestic goods to a foreign country or countries, selling Sri Lankan tea to export countries, selling Sri Lankan apparel. Apparel means garments, clothes, products to European countries. So it's that easy. Automobiles means cars, guys. So you need to know this is very easy term. So automobiles means cars. So import means bringing things and export means selling things. So now let's move on to the activity one. Yeah, there's a few activity I'm going to do with you guys. Let's make it fast. Then we will finish it off. State whether statements given below are true or false. Let me ask you guys. Purchasing of excess by a school cooperative shop to sell to students in a transaction relevant for retail trade. So normally you are purchasing of exercise books by a school. Okay. cooperative shop to sell to students. So actually they are for retail trade. Now, is this true or false is the question. Actually, the first one is for it's true. The reason because they are purchasing and they want to give it to students, so it's a final consumption. We said as true. Second thing we said as selling ready-made garments manufactured in Sri Lanka to foreign country is an example for exported trade. So you sell the product within the country to outside the country is an export trade. Completely, it's true. Selling required. So I'm going to write it, guys. If you want, you can mark it. So true. Right. Second one, true. Let's move on to the third one. Selling required goods for daily needs of consumers in required quantities is a characteristics of wholesale trade. So who sells in required quantities and required varieties of goods? It's retailers, not wholesalers. So it's false. Then buying required milk powder, fuel, etc. for countries from foreign countries is an example of import trade. When you buy any resource from another country, we say it as an import trade. So of course it's true. Then we have the difference between retail trade and wholesale trade lies in the purchase of purpose. Of course, because a retail trader is a person who has the purpose of final consumption, but to sell to final consumers. But wholesalers, they have the purpose of reselling. So it's true. So answer is true, true, false, true, true. It's number 1 to 5. So let's move on to the next part of the questions, number 6 to 10, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, let's move on. Okay. Yeah. So now retailers often has direct contact with the consumers. What do you think, guys? Normally they have the direct contact with the consumers, so that's actually true. And wholesale price of good is often higher than the retail price. Normally wholesale price will be very lower than the retail price because they are the people who are selling it in bulk. So this is actually false. So I'll write it false. Then what do we have? We have another thing, selling rubber manufactured in Sri Lankan to China and bringing in Chinese machinery is an example for export trade. So actually, if you see this question, they are saying selling rubber manufactured in Sri Lanka to China and bringing in Chinese machinery is an example for export trade. Here there is export as well as import because when you sell for China, you are doing an export. Actually, it's true. But when you're bringing the machinery, it becomes import. So it can't be true or false, but still I'll consider it as false because when you bring the items to Sri Lanka, it can't be true. So I'll say it as false. Then what do you have? The next part. The retail trade involves a variety of goods, whereas wholesale trade involves a limited types of goods. It's true because they don't sell a lot of varieties in the wholesale, and they sell a lot of varieties in the retail. In our country, both retail trade and wholesale trade exists. That's all. Every country will have this type of trade. So that's what we say domestic trade. And of course, it's true. So I've given you everything related to the chapter 1 trade. I have completely finished, and I hope you guys understood this. So please subscribe my channel to learn with me. And this channel main motive is to teach students who cannot study by paying a fee. They can study overall within the country. Today, due to the situation, students need commerce classes, especially when it comes to the ordinary level. So I want everyone to watch this. I want you to say to your friends, make them learn this as free as possible. If you just sit in my channel and watch the entire videos, still trust me, you can go for a pass. Yeah, I have done a lot of past papers, I have done a lot of chapters. So please go and visit all those in my playlist, and please do not forget to comment under comment section. If you like this video, please put a comment saying that we understood, really appreciating. I always accept it, and also I really love your appreciation. So I'm waiting for your appreciation. See you guys on the next video. Please do not forget to subscribe my channel. Have a nice day.